Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Line of Code. I am One Lion. Happy Friday to all of you. Today is Friday Day. We all know what happens on Friday days. That's it. That's all there is to it. Hello, rollers. I'm doing fantastic. I'm a little low energy today, and I'm not really wanting to do anything about it. But that's fine. That's okay. I'm trying to get a few things set up, so I'm a little distracted, but I'm wearing a lot of hats today. Many of them. In fact, we could almost have a hat change redemption, and I would always have something to do. Oh, dag nabbit, I never actually started that, did I? I opened PowerShell, but I didn't run the LLM server. Whoops. But how are you doing today? Today being Friday is Community Day. I will have that started very shortly. I'll be in a voice channel soon-ish. Remote stream. This one. Turn on camera. Start virtual camera. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that started. There goes the LLM, and finally loading the model into the LLM. Or loading the LLM into the LLM API. Whatever. Words that means something to somebody somewhere. Loading. Okay. One more thing is archery bot. I'm just gonna jump to the scene instead of going in through studio mode. Refresh. Archery bot. I don't know if that's the music or what, but I keep hearing something that sounds like my phone buzzing. No clue. Doesn't matter. All right. Are we good? Did everything get started? I believe so. So here's this screen. This is my desktop. Today is Friday, and on Fridays on this channel, Fridays are community days, and community days are days in which I invite you, any of you, to spur conversation, to steer us, to have us talk about things that you're interested in talking about. Of course, content related to this channel, which is technology, computer science, programming, game development, all of those types of topics. So feel free to bring up anything you want. I don't have anything in particular in mind for a current topic, and there are multiple ways that you can do this. One is that you can hop into Discord, join any of the voice channels, and type "bang waiting" into chat to let me know that you are in a voice channel. And thank you so much, Dukasoft, for that. That's so helpful. Why do I look like a C dev writing a Linux kernel? Do I? That's fun. I don't know. I don't know, but welcome in. Hi. Happy Friday to you. I was just talking about Community Day, and you can see the post just a few before your message that talk about how to participate. One of them is, as I was saying, hopping into Discord and joining a voice channel, type !waiting, and I will pull you into the voice channel where your voice will come through on stream if you so desire, kind of like a podcast or a radio call-in type of thing. If you aren't comfortable doing that, then you are definitely welcome to bring up topics in chat directly. It's a sad Friday for me. Exam tomorrow. Anyways, can I write a poem for you? Of course you can. Absolutely. The rules in chat are be mindful, be respectful, and that's about it. So yeah. I do love poultry. Whoa! I know. What? I mean, yes-ish, but that is a lot of events. And why are you at, oh, because the Twitch bot service is an abstract class. Man, I was making decisions on that. So until we get the poem or other conversations, I'm going to be working on a bunch of stuff at the same time. On screen, I'll be working on the TwitchBot remake. Off screen, I'll be working on monitoring the updates, the OS updates to one of the servers. That server is currently having an issue with where one of the users is getting disconnected from it often. And I'm not getting disconnected from the actual remote desktop session, and they are. So I don't know if it's a connectivity issue on their end, but I am getting a lot of stalls, and it just hangs. It just hangs. Napalm says, off screen, I will be working on terrible custom Python package. New to me. Namespacing is weird in Python. I kind of remember it, but not really. It's been a long time since I've done anything in Python. So here's the poem from SecOps Gang. In the land of code where bugs run wild, there's a dev so cool it's almost mild. .NET's his playground, Blazor's his game, and Maui's his latest claim to fame. I don't think it's a poem about me, but it was a good poem. I like it. Maui will be my claim to fame. I don't know that I would ever call anything my claim to fame, but because I don't really want to be famous. I just want to spread information. I want people to have all the informations and do with it whatever they want, consolidate it, play with it, use it for making amazing things. But one of the things coming in .NET 9, I just watched a talk by Dan Roth yesterday. One of the things coming in .NET 9 is the Maui project template that is Maui plus web. And so since .NET 6, or whenever it was that Maui was officially released, I had been, this is a .NET 8 project. I'd rather show you in a .NET 7 and before project. Has to be info about latest vacancy at your workplace. My workplace has no vacancies. I am self-employed, solo dev, no employees, single member LLC, so I don't plan on taking any employees. At least not at the moment. But my previous workplace, where are you located? General region. So you don't have to tell me like specifically. I am on 5th Street in Atlas City, Vancouver, BC. Vancouver, BC, Toronto. Did I not update my title? Please tell me I updated my title. It's Community Friday. Feel like every day. Oh, it isn't anymore. Your title. How did you just guess my address? Yeah, that's weird. Like, I remember updating it in OBS and pushing the done button, but I think you're right. I pushed the done button again, and that might have applied the title. What do you say, Stream Elements? Yeah, Stream Elements is saying that it was the day 252. which is wrong. Dagnabbit. What about my starting screen? I didn't even open. Oh my gosh. This whole time. We're on day 26 now. Whoops. Gotta push done 3 times. All right. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. It's Community Friday. Feel like every day. That's cool. You're fired. I am on the Everest. Just kidding. From Nepal. Awesome. So looking for a remote internship where I can really contribute and learn day by day. Yeah, I don't know about job markets in that area or remote positions that are open to. Yeah, I live in the US. The place that I can recommend is a place that I used to work, and I did not like the work experience myself. I'm glad I had it. It's not for me, but it is for a whole bunch of people that exactly. It is for a whole bunch of people. They love this type of work environment where it's you're put on a project, you work on that project, and it's kind of like, you know, you making how do I word that? You are more proactive in your career advancement in that environment. And so anyway, they're called Sajetti. Sound alerts are slow today. I don't know about hectic. Like, it wasn't really, oh yes it was. It was hectic for me. It was just a team environment where things weren't happening the way that I thought they would be happening in a team environment. It was my first team work experience. I've almost always been a solo dev or working in an office that had a whole bunch of non-software developers. But anyway, I can recommend Sajetti. I'm pretty sure they have offices overseas, but you can apply online or look them up. Just look for Sajetti or Sogeti, Sogeti, or Capgemini. Capgemini? Capgemini. But yes, Scott, the answer is no, I'm not yet, but we should do that today. If that's a topic that you want to bring up, then absolutely, I would be happy to go deeper into semantic kernel today. My mind is on a bunch of other things at the same time. I was in the middle of my next work task when I got not really interrupted because it's still along the lines of the one before. Let me say it like this. I was looking into ArcGIS and how to connect the map for RMA water. So how to connect this map directly to the data source so that these layers update as the GIS specialist makes changes to the map data. So right now this map is showing features. In this case, the features are wells that don't actually, or whose status is changed. So for example, let's say that these 2 wells are no longer open wells or water quality performance wells. Instead, they are closed wells, or they've been taken out of the sampling plan, so they're no longer water quality performance wells. They have to go into the ArcMap application, update the map, and republish it to a file, which will eventually display in this app. And they're having troubles doing so right now, but they're wanting to know if it is possible for them to just make the changes to the database records and then have it update here. And then there was a question about, if we have that, is there a way to keep this version of the map until the other version has been reviewed and you push an update button because you approve it or whatever? And so there's like all of these things that sound kind of hard to do. So that was what I was researching about a week ago for the entire week. And then after I had finished doing all of my research, I gave them the information about how to connect the map to the back end, or my recommendation really is just to continue publishing to the file, because that is the easiest to maintain. We have backups. So if the current map file that gets generated has incorrect data and they want to revert, then we can just point it to the old file. During that time, I got messages from the GIS specialist. Oh wait, actually the next thing that happened was that they said okay to me, and then I okay. Do you want me to accept your test or not? And hello, 8 bits per play. After I told them that, they gave me my next priorities. So my next priority is integrating a current existing desktop app into a web application. It would be converting the desktop app into its standalone web application, but it made more sense to bring that application into one of the ones that I had already converted. So I'm working on that. And at the same time, I'm upgrading the original, or the web application that they're converting, that it's getting merged into, upgrading that to .NET 8, which is so much fun. I love doing it. It's so easy. It is a little tedious as far as updating the NuGet packages and changing over to the new identity system instead of using Duende. So I'm in the middle of that, and I was hoping to at least get the .NET 8 upgrade done. I started that yesterday or the day before. I think maybe the day before. And then I was hoping to get that part done and then switch back to the ArcMap stuff after they give me a response. But the ArcGIS specialist on the team was like, I'm now having issues with getting disconnected from the server as I'm working in ArcMap. And it's only started happening recently. So I go into the server and there's 3.4 gigabytes left on the system drive out of 80. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So I look in the user directory and there isn't that much in there. I look in the Windows directory and that's only 25 to 30 gigs. And then I look in program files and program files x86 and program data, and all of those total up to another 5 or 10. And so I could only account for 50 to 60 gigabytes, and I have no idea what's happening to the other 20. So I was in the middle of that and in constant communication about that. And I'm just getting pulled in so many directions. But in looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, we need to rethink the way that the AWS servers are set up anyway. So maybe my next work task is, let's do some server architecting. And I need a lot of help and input for that. I mean, I'm gonna come up with it eventually. It's gonna take me a long time to do, but if any of you are actually interested in helping me come up with a plan for how to set up our AWS resources. I'm ears. I have ears. Anyway, hi TBD, hi Mojo, and hello Emporium Guy. I don't think that I actually said hello to specific names yet, but hello Rollers. You were first to speak today. Thank you so much for that. Hello Napalm. Hello Dukasoft. Hello SecOps Gang. Hello President Not Sure. Scod. Sound Alerts. Emporium Guy. And Peter. And 8 bits per play. And Mojo. And TBD. Alright, so yes. I will pull you into the room now, TBD, after I do a quick shout out for Peter. After I do a quick shout out for TBD. And TBD Gamer is an application developer working on a management system, a project management system, project planning system, and it's going to be really cool. Check out his streams. Mic check, Peter.
Test, 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 test. I'm
You
here.
are tested. Good volume, good levels.
It's the magic of USB headsets. USB plugged in. It's a firm distance from my face. It's like it's not one of those flexible ones you move wherever.
It just fixed.
It's fixed on my face. Anyway. Hey, if you want to talk servers, it's
yes.
kind of what I do, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do mean that.
Okay.
Not just a passing thought.
Yeah. So I didn't hear totally. So what do y'all need? What's up?
Yeah, I will tell you that in a second. I need to finish a thought that I started at the very beginning of the stream. Something that I'm excited for that is coming out in .NET 9 is the ability to have a MAUI project that also targets web. So cross-platform, multi-platform, whatever, plus web. And what I've been doing in the past since .NET, whenever MAUI came out, is putting the MAUI project alongside the Blazor server and Blazor WebAssembly project types. Then they combined Blazor server and WebAssembly into one project type, and now they're combining MAUI and that Blazor web app into one project type. And that's so cool. I'm so excited about that.
I'm equally excited. No, it's fun. Sounds
one app to rule them all.
Consolidation's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been touching the preview stuff because I have so much other things to do. 8-Bit says I missed the last couple of streams from a few people and my own stream. Oh, so not sure where everyone is at in their streams. Had a nice migraine for 3 days. That sounds terrible. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back, though. All right. So the thing that's going on is, and I was going to make a list while we do this. So that you could see it on screen as well. We have a whole bunch of services and stuff, and a total of 4 EC2 instances. So just think of them as Windows servers. That's it. Yep. And the things that we have are an ArcGIS server, file server, certificate authority server for our internal certificate authority.
Internal certificate authority? Brutal. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
It was because Duende needed certificates in order for it to be able to do its magic. And so I had the certificate authority server issue computer certificates to each of the EC2 instances so that when they try to do the Duende identity server stuff, they have a thumbprint certificate that they can use that is trusted within that internal network. Test IIS, ISS, test DB, SQL, production IIS, prod DB, RabbitMQ, DT Search, which is a indexing service for PDFs and other document types. So think of it like Elasticsearch. Well, I guess think of it like Elasticsearch.
Okay. Yep.
What am I missing?
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's more. Okay, cool. The update actually applied. ArcMap. Oh, right. Okay. So there is an issue where ArcGIS, which, if you are familiar with it, is just a geospatial mapping.
Our local energy company, Centerpoint, uses ArcGIS
Cool.
because the name of their website is ArcGIS like outage tracker. Like it's not great user experience, but anyway, I'm aware.
Cool.
It's pre
So
Google Map stuff.
Well, I mean, it's still a very
Yeah.
popular
Yeah.
mapping geospatial information systems. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
still very popular and widely used. I forget what it's called. I'm just going to call it the geospatial DB. I don't like that you're auto-correcting geospatial for me. So this points to the production database as well as files on a shared network drive. Oh, I guess that matters too. I have virtual volumes, or whatever they're called in AWS, for main system drives for 4 EC2 instances, application files, application data files, the IIS, what are they called? Just IIS site files? Like when you publish to IIS, you're pretty much publishing to disk somewhere, and then you're pointing IIS to that disk to have it serve. What did you call it?
And it's just the website. And IIS, like, do you save the IIS configuration? By the way, can you move Notepad down a little and also
yes. Make it
like 50% font size? I'm a sad old man. All right, thank you.
No worries at all.
Yeah.
So IIS folders, I guess. IIS drive for the web apps. The INET folder is its own drive.
I just feel like you redeploy from scratch. Like, don't worry about the volumes for that, but that's a whole different discussion. I guess also I use Octopus Deploy, which auto deploys with all these config changes, and I have my production config set in every time I deploy. So that's an Octopus Deploy thing, but it is something you have to think about, keeping your config files around if you don't have an automated type of system for doing that for you.
Oof. So yes, I do have a lot, and I'm managing all these by myself.
And developing. Yeah.
That's our
Well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I was trying to get to with this part is that because of these connections, and you could, or we do and could, map directly to our file share from a remote computer. So like this computer that I'm streaming from, I have connected to the file share. And if I'm pointing ArcGIS desktop and running it locally off of this computer to this file share, that file share is located in the AWS servers, whichever region we chose. And so there's going to be a latency while working with maps, as well as the connection to the database. That also gives latency with working with the maps, with the amount of features and data points that we have. So the thing that we came up with as a quick fix, because again, doing all of this on my own, it's kind of hard to implement something that is robust. I just let the one GIS specialist log directly into that server and run ArcGIS desktop on that server through RDP.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know why they're doing that, so I don't have any opinion about that.
It's
But I will say,
because
as a one-man shop, you're surviving, and that is good enough. So congratulations.
except that I'm not anymore, because this is the one that's spurring everything. So what's going on is that the GIS specialist was like, I'm logging in, I'm working in ArcMap, and every 5 to 10 minutes it stalls for about 30 to 40 seconds, and about 15 minutes to 20 minutes I lose connection to RDP, and it says reestablishing connection, and it takes about 2 minutes to reconnect.
Well, and I'm serious about that. This sounds like a personal problem.
I thought
Your
so too.
ArcGIS internet.
I thought so too.
I
But
seriously
as I was
like
working
it.
on Satellite Sally, on the server, I am getting stall.
You are
Like
seeing
I'm
it.
moving stuff around, and then it freezes on me for a couple seconds, and it's just really annoying. And Event Viewer is showing me some garbage.
Oh.
Specifically, a message that says enumerating user sessions to generate filter pools failed. So I'm seeing this error, which I haven't seen before. And then a performance one that says when trying to write to a log file, it took 20 to 50 seconds, and it wasn't expecting to.
So maybe your file shares overloaded?
I think so. So the system drive on that server specifically suddenly only has 3 gigabytes of space left on it.
Ooh, this is all. By the way, when I do troubleshooting, I very much jump to conclusions way too early.
Yes, absolutely.
So just keep
I do
that
too.
in mind.
I do too.
So we all do, but I'm always wrong when I jump to these conclusions. But I'm very confident in the moment. So I am confident that 3 gigabytes is in that zone where like someone might need to make a file that's a few gigabytes, and anyway, it gets in that zone where you just don't want to be. And I don't know how to help you, but sounds like that is the problem.
That's one of them, at
Can
least. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question about the ArcGIS shared drive? Is it a native Windows share, or are you using some sort of Amazon service?
Yeah, it's a volume. It's a virtual disk in Amazon connected to the OS, but so are all of the disks. So I could disconnect them from that EC2 instance.
You can turn it off and do some downtime and double the size. That's like
right.
This is like
you don't even have to stop it now anymore. I've definitely increased the size of the system volume even without needing to stop it. The one that made me actually have to stop the server was I needed to go over 2.5 terabytes for one of the shared drives, the application drive. And it was like, you can't use this type of file system on it, so you have to essentially recreate the file system, move all the data over.
Oof. Sounds awful. I will also say in Azure, you're in Amazon. In Azure, if you make a bigger disk, they have an option to get better throughput. Now, if you do a live migration, I don't know if that's an option in Amazon, but what I'm saying is if you double the size of your disk, you should get double the performance, but it's not in Azure, it's not automatic. So I will just say be watching for how many IOPS you get.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing that I need to know is to so look at.
It may not be it may not even be running out of space, although instantly I am Detective Peter and I'm better than Sherlock Holmes.
The thing that I
And I'm
really don't get though is I look through all of the folders individually on the C drive to see where all of the files are being used, and I'm like, it's got to be the users folder because that's still on the C drive. I really need
okay.
Active Directory. I really need my Active Directory to say put the user folders in that application drive or its own drive or wherever. But there's only like 2 GB being used up from the user's drive. And then
Huh.
the Windows folder is only 30. Program files and program data and program files x86 are another 10. So I can only account for like 50 to 60 gigabytes. I don't know where the other 20 are.
Terabytes? Oh,
Gigabytes.
20.
Yeah, so the system volume on this computer is one that has 3 GB left, and it's a 80 GB drive. Because I was only
Yeah,
expecting to run the OS on it.
yeah. I just double the size of it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm asking them if I can, but we just recently increased from 1.8 terabytes to 2.5, actually to 3 terabytes on the application drive, and so they're like, do we really need that
You
much
just
space?
round down to 0. Yeah, just tell them, like, do you want to pay for an Amazon administrator? We can definitely run this more efficiently. And you can save thousands of dollars by paying hundreds of thousands of dollars out
Yeah.
for salary and all
and
that.
and they actually did consider that, and they used to have a system admin. He's the same dude that thought that you could just delete snapshots in the middle of a cumulative snapshot list and everything would be okay.
Tough, a little tough. I'm sure he tested. He was a. I laugh.
I was eating lunch with my wife, and he comes in and he's like, so I'm about to delete some snapshots. Do you have anything in mind? And I'm like, I'm not thinking about this right now, just do whatever.
Yeah.
You can wait
So
until
it's your
you can
fault.
either wait until after lunch, or you can be a system admin and do your job correctly, and he did neither.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well,
That's just me
nice.
being judgy.
So what else we got? So yeah, good luck. It sounds like I will also say one other thing that happens in Azure is every now and then a VM will just start dying, like the underlying hardware is flaky or whatever. They don't fix it for us. So there is a redeploy button. There redeploy button sometimes fixes random VM failures. And what redeploy I mean, they specifically tell you it's move it to new hardware.
Okay.
And it will require a reboot. It is downtime. There's probably an equivalent thing in Amazon. At minimum, you press the stop button, wait, and press the start button on a VM, and it might move it, but you don't know. That's why I like the redeploy. Because that's
okay
like,
with that.
Yeah.
As long as the server is still the same, because that server is the one that is my certificate authority.
Yeah.
And RabbitMQ. Now I moved to RabbitMQ, and my DT search and Active Directory and ArcGIS. Yeah. It's just overloaded.
And yeah, you can like open Task Manager and just kind of watch it. I don't know. I'm not very good at like monitoring servers. I'm like you. I'm just running a lot of stuff, but I'm not a programmer. I'm not programming. I don't believe in it. But yeah, I have just sort of like a bunch of hacks that will get me through the day. Oh, in addition.
Yeah, this is the message.
It does sound like your disk is just trying. What's web cache?
I have
Is
no
that
idea.
your IIS? Is IIS running on this
No,
one
this
here?
is not the IIS server. This is the file server. It does have FTP installed on it, but this is the person that is accessing ArcGIS desktop.
Okay. Well,
So it probably has something to do with ArcGIS desktop. But
I would say Google uh, file uh, file issues on Amazon, and because I feel like this, I don't think your disk is bad, but and that looks like your disk is bad. That's what it's telling you, right? Oh,
yeah. And Snubble, I'm gonna reboot this weekend. So this I only learned about this last night and then looked into it this morning. But rebooting is one of the things. I updated Windows, which of course is really hard to do when you only have, well, it was 5 GB of space, and during the update, it filled up 2 GB. So I'm hoping it cleans up the temporary files after a reboot and I get those 2 GB back.
yeah.
But the thing that I really wanted to know is this brought up an opportunity to just look at not my, well, yes, I will take ownership of this, my AWS structure and revamp it completely. Since I'm running all of the apps in .NET Core now, and they are Blazor applications, yeah, then I don't really need IIS.
Yeah. I mean,
So
but I don't think any of that's the problem. But go ahead.
right, and I'm not trying to solve this problem anymore. I'm just looking at, is there a better way to architect our AWS solution to where I can still use all of these services, have them pay less for them, because right now they are 4 EC2 instances that are running 24/7, as opposed
How many
to
cores?
EBS that says I'm going to shut down when the applications are not in use. Sure, you'll get that
Yeah.
first run lag, but that's it.
How many cores per server?
Oh, yeah, and that's the other thing that sucks. The person that set them up was not consistent, but as I'm
Might
looking
be
at
okay.
this one, the server that's having the issue is called T2X Large, which is a AMD 64, 16 gigabytes of memory. How many cores, he asked?
And yeah, I do. I see you. Fuel. I'm just gonna call you Fuel. Fuel. I see it. Yeah, rebooting. We're not even joking. It might actually fix it. But like,
Yeah.
my only real suggestion so far is like, try and move to new hardware, and that is, yeah,
And increase the
that.
size of the system drive, at least as a band-aid.
Oh yeah. And it's so cheap, dude. Like,
It is.
drives,
It's
disk space in the cloud is really expensive. It's like 10x more expensive than it should be, but it's backed
it's
up,
still
and
cheap-ish.
it's still cheap. So like a system drive, just double it and don't think about it. We anyway. I don't
Well, I still need
like.
permission to do that because since the contract, they're the prime contractor now or fully own it or whatever, and they're paying me. They're
Got it.
wanting to save money wherever they can.
Okay.
I'm not cheap.
Yeah. All right. President
What
Not Sure
is
says I
your
had some stuff stuck. Just had to log out, log back in, and it's 2024. Not sure why I have to do that. Hey, man. Dude. We just said that. That's my only response. Dude.
dude? All right, tell me what your processor is. Oh gosh, is there an easy way to know?
It doesn't. I'm sorry. You said what it was? What was it? I can
Yeah,
Google it.
a T2 extra large, T2 X large, which I was about to Google, but I'm all over the place.
X
T2
large.
X
Oh my.
large. Yep.
Oh no no no. Okay, X large is 4 cores. Okay, 4 cores is fine. It's about right for Windows Server. You can run on two sometimes, and
Yeah, and again, like when this was getting set up, I was expecting it to be the file share, maybe do Active Directory on it if we needed it, um, which we ended up using. And then I put RabbitMQ and DT Search on it, so the indexing software for the document management system, and then connected the main application data drive to this one and have all of the other servers reference it as a file share.
okay. I don't know.
And that's all I was
I
expecting.
this is part of the problem with your problem is we don't have good metrics. So we can hypothesize, we can be Sherlock
I
Holmes,
mean, I can
but like
give you metrics.
I mean, but like do you know
I
what it
just don't
looks
know what I
like
can
when your
share.
disk is like do you see your disk redlining?
That I can tell you
Like
now because I am in here. Monitoring is disabled. Um,
and like do you have a test case where you can pretty much be sure that it is your ArcGIS is blowing up like the bad behavior. Basically I'm saying can you exercise a test such that this thing happens and then can you look at metrics? Because the whole point is like if you can't do that then you're going to be guessing and being Sherlock Holmes and I've sometimes you can't. Sometimes like figuring out in the cloud at least you have metrics, native cloud metrics, so hopefully you can see like a graph that says this disk is maxed out for 10 minutes. That would be a good indicator that you know and it might just say like system disk is completely oh there we go.
so here's one day. I'm going to snip this. And I'm using snipping tool, of course, so that I can hide server names and instance IDs and stuff, because I don't know how important that is.
So like this is the kind of thing like especially with network, and by the way you have no disks on there which is
I
okay,
had no disks.
but
Storage.
network
Storage
is
has
like
its own
almost
tab.
impossible. Get me. I feel, and this is always the case. And by the way, it looks very normal. I'm not. I don't actually like that your CPU's just stuck at like over 10%. It looks like
Yeah, and again, I
that's
think that is the either DT search, which I don't think is DT search. It's got to be Arc server. Task manager.
and you can run Task Manager if you can log in and just run Task Manager. It kind of works for these kind of cheap. Like I have
Open
dirty. I am a
JDK
dirty
platform
Linux.
binary.
Yeah, that's Java running probably DT search.
25%.
Okay. So, and this is where you can
It's
start
awesome.
testing things too, because it just occurred to me like if you have this problem and you can figure out how to see it happen with
Mm-hmm.
ArcGIS, you could turn off DT search for a while and then and see if
Yeah.
that fixes the problem. And if it does, then you have a clear candidate. All right, what do we got? President, not sure. Stuck in use. Nope. Dude, that was the new message was dude.
Switch the
Uh,
app plan and then it work. Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's like I just want to essentially, because this is what I do, start over from scratch with the knowledge that I have now of what resources we use and set everything up in a more mindful way without losing our
it's tough.
current capabilities. So like all of my web apps are set up in Route 53 to point to the production server or the test server, depending on if you're going to test Dash or not, through a load balancer. But if I change all of those to Elastic Beanstalk, then I'd have to update Route 53, somehow force the clearing of the DNS whatever stuff needs to happen there. I don't know.
You can
And then
reconfigure.
figure out how to have them point to an RDS instead of using the EC2 instance as the database server.
Yep.
Put a certificate
It's
on
a lot
RDS.
of migrations. We have like a
Yeah.
dozen or many dozens of these type of things we'd like to change, but we haven't. So, but we're surviving. Where are your discs?
Search. They are in my
And
clipboard right now.
oh, I was gonna say.
Okay, so yes, DT search is running on this computer. So I could stop DT search off hours, stop ArcGIS off hours.
But you
Which is
still
why
have to
it's-
have a test. You have to have a
Yeah.
test that is pretty guaranteed to work, you know? And it sounds intermittent-ish, and that's going to make it tough to get a good test case, in my opinion.
Which one of these disks is the system drive? This has to be it, because it's 80
The one.
gigs. 80 gigabytes, I mean. Gigabytes.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke, but you're not, which makes me very sad. The world is playing a sad joke on us.
And I'm like that. I was thinking that was where my calculations were off, where I was, I did a Control A inside of C drive, right click properties, and it tells me that the folders that I've selected take up 60-ish gigabytes. And I'm like, is 80 gigabytes 60 gigabytes? And I'm like, no, it's not that big of a difference. Okay, here is the system drive for one day.
What is top left? It says, what is
average
the unit?
Read latency milliseconds per operation.
Okay, so it's not spiking. So that is a useful thing. I guess this is one day because I'm looking right below it and it says read operations basically are empty alpha hours and then kind of, I don't want to say blow up, but spike above 0. Let's put it that way.
Here's 3 days.
It looks fine. Is this your system drive? Can you look at the data drive? I'm sorry.
Oops. Okay. So this is 3 days real quick.
Yeah. I can't
and
really
I'm
tell.
Assuming
this is honest talk. Chat, don't ever say in a job interview, I don't really know what I'm looking at. You probably shouldn't say that, but it's honest. Like, it looks fine, like, what is ops per second? I don't know. Like, bursty operations could be fine. Anyway, let's keep going.
Like this here, average queue length yesterday, and these are probably server time, so close to the end is actually about 2 to 3 p.m. our time, so during the workday.
Emporium guy, you only get hashtag real talk on this channel. This is all you get. All right, is this a data disk or is this OS?
The data disk. So this is the data drive,
or whatever. Yeah, one of them
for 3 days. Copy.
And see, this is kind of black box, like outside end. I haven't even mentioned that, like, if you have a commercial license for... Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm paying attention.
I was like hanging on to every word you were just now saying. I'm like, what tool can I use?
You can file commercial support tickets. And even though it's mostly useless, like I just filed one yesterday for a cert and it actually helped me out.
The last time that I called them, they were like, well, we aren't your account manager. I'm like, who is? Well, we don't know. It's like, but so here's the organization that owns the contract and are paying the bills. But
ArcGIS.
here's the
So
organization that,
enterprise.
yeah.
Well, that was a good idea. Anyway, but if you're getting desperate, you'll know. But what else happens? That's right. RDP goes unstable.
Yeah, so RDP loses connection for her. She's on site. And I do remember there being connectivity issues to any AWS resource, except for the web apps, of course. But if you're trying to connect to the AWS resource directly.
Okay.
Because essentially she's on an army controlled system.
Okay. I'm just thinking my way through this. This does sound like it may be a noisy neighbor problem. That's what they call it. If if you're in the cloud, they should guarantee these premier cloud people like Amazon should definitely have it locked down where if they promise you 4 cores, you're going to get 4, but and if they promise you a disk with a certain number of IOPS, you should get them. Man, I have lots of thoughts. Anyway, you've written down a bunch of them.
Yes.
I don't know. Basically, I don't know. We still haven't seen a smoking gun as to what is breaking. You've gotten a log message that basically says it took too long, right? Is that like a timeout?
And then it also said something about, oh no, not timed out because it was successful. Where did Notepad go? So it says that it was successful, but that this could normally be due to faulty hardware.
56 seconds, yeah. And maybe this is where, if you're in the cloud, like, this should be impossible to have this happen. You should have SLAs that are like every single write. You should have a certain number of guaranteed IOs. And unless you're overloading it, which those graphs don't seem to say anyone's overloading it for any length of time, but maybe they are.
By dedicated
I think so. Yeah, I don't know, man. You've got a toughie. I think, like, if you wanted to be like a cloud architect, this is what you say. You say, we need to move ArcGIS off, and it'll be a migration. It'll take us several months, and we're going to have to pay more for servers. And maybe
I was actually planning on doing that and moving it to a different server.
It may not help. That's kind of the whole, I think that's my whole point, because I've had a lot of similar issues where, like, I think I'm trying stuff to fix something, and we do something pretty drastic, and then it turns out I was wrong, and I literally wasted, I think, two or 3 days on Cert Manager earlier a few weeks ago. But we'll find out later today, which, by the way, I need to get off the call soon. The stand-up. Well, this has been a great stand-up.
It's actually been a productive stand-up, which shouldn't happen either.
Which, yeah, that we stayed on topic. Yeah, Fuel says,
but essentially, what I am getting is that it wouldn't make sense to try to re-architect this anyway. Like,
no. The only thing you should try is like moving ArcGIS off. But like, look, everything you've listed there probably has a cloud version minus SQL Server, because Microsoft's a little weird about
RDS
cloud hosting
on AWS, which comes with a license. Yeah.
Oh. But the problem isn't any of this. It's your disk on. It's a disk on a VM that you're.
Right.
Oh yeah. Sorry. See, this is me again. I'm jumping to conclusions. But the error. What was the error message? Could you just leave it over that? Because it, like, scrolled. Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah, but this seems like a fluke. Look at this. since the last message regarding this problem were posted, how
Right.
many days? Chat, do the math.
However, um, there is a day when this happened about 20 times in a row.
Still sounds like it's happening less frequently than your person. You got to.
You're right. You're right.
Than your disconnects. You need to correlate the timestamp with a disconnect. By the way, that the 3 million is 36 days ago. That number,
and that's
of however many
not
seconds.
True, because there is another one that happened the day before.
Well,
interesting.
Maybe it's on this file only, and maybe it is happening a lot more frequently.
Oh my gosh! So I was skipping over all of the informations. Okay. There is indication in the event log that it really just needs a restart. Copy this, pasta this. So there's one message. That's a warning. And then this. And this warning happens like 20 times as well.
What the heck is that? All right, I don't. Okay, what's the second one? C++.
Well, this is like needed for, like, it's almost like ArcGIS server was getting updated. And it couldn't update because the file was in use. It couldn't stop the session, and then it couldn't restart the session. Because the SID does not match conductor SID, whatever that means.
This is why it's important to have a good working test and also a smoking gun, which I don't know. Restart might work, but yeah. I think the first log you pasted a long time ago, I assume is something that just happens every now and then. Because there are flukes in the cloud, like things just leak out. Napalm, what's up? What's up? I hath seeing you. I think that's proper English. I hath been seeing you.
508 and 510. I hope nothing else has these event IDs. Comma separated? Yeah, 508, 510. Yes. Okay. Deselect so that we don't get names and stuff. Clip. Pasta. Well, that's tiny. So these are all the same message. The 508 is writing to V01 log web cache, which I think was the one that we were looking at. And then 510 is V01.jfm.
Well, this does look like a pattern of it started getting worse the 12th and then has been continuing since then, right?
Yeah.
But man, it's hard to tell. All right, I do have to go. It's been a solid, and I'm just going to leave you. And I don't even want to know what the answer is. I'm just going to leave you. This is why you're responsible. Yes. Again, the Cloud Architect, that'll be my sound off. So as a Cloud Architect, I will just tell you, start a multi-month migration, and it will sound good, and you will successfully complete it, and you'll look like a genius, and it won't fix anything. But they won't figure out until later, and that's what's important. So with that said, sorry I'm delaying because I haven't found the button. No blocker.
I love that. Oh man. Fake it till you make it. And that's the thing, I don't want to make it as a cloud architect or systems administrator. But that's kind of what I meant where I'm wearing a lot of hats today. I'm doing server administration and trying to wrap up my current effort in moving a desktop VB.NET application over into an existing web application and trying to figure out a strategy for getting our map data pointing to live database data. And there was one other thing that came up. Of course, server related, which is what is our backup and restore plan? What is our disaster recovery plan? Forget all my specific advice, just try and find the problem definitively, which is tough. Good luck. Thank you, Peter. Oh, you're so kind. Running around with our heads in the ground. Someone do me a favor. Can you please find me an email associated with IG user at... No? I'm just going to say no to that. It smells like robots. If you aren't a robot, then let us know as soon as you can. Otherwise, your message is going to be deleted and you'll be timed out for now. Because I don't know if you're a robot or not. I wouldn't want to ban you if that was an honest mistake. But no. I'll give you a couple minutes. Okie dokie. What else? What else is there to talk about? I mean, I have a whole bunch of server related things to talk about, but I kind of really don't want to. All right. I'm convinced. Thanks, Julius. Robots. Excitement over .NET 9. Does anyone have any excitement over .NET 9? Again, looking for, I'm not trying to say be positive, but if you don't have anything nice to say about the .NET 9 release, just try not to say it if you can. Like I said, the main thing that I saw yesterday that I'm looking forward to is the .NET MAUI Plus Web, which I can add .NET 10, the long-term support. LTS. Yeah, I plan on updating, well, since I'm already in the process of updating the apps to .NET 8, those are going to be easy, the ones that I've already updated to .NET 8, to update them to .NET 9. And any future apps that I'm going to be converting or update them to .NET 9. Can anyone explain the hybrid web view? So if you are talking about the thing where they're combining the .NET MAUI project template with the web template, then I can. To be honest, the .NET MAUI could have been an upgrade on its own instead of bundling them to .NET 9. True. I'm more hyped for the new C# features. Honestly, the union type is a huge change to how C# works. I mean, the / escape sequence is nice when doing colors and on Linux style systems. Yeah, but is union type coming in .NET 9 with the new C# release? Vulnerability SLAs keep us upgrading even if there is no value, so I don't like upgrading even more often. This one, most of the apps, do I even have any that I can load right now? Most of the apps that I am working on are still either .NET 5 or .NET 6 because they're running just fine. But there are performance improvements starting in .NET 7 that I want to take advantage of, as well as the new project template in .NET 8 that doesn't use the one-day identity server. So I have more than just keeping up at the latest version as a reason for updating. That was very odd. That's just gonna stay there. That's fine. You stay there. WPF love in .NET 9. That's a huge, or that's a hype. 8-Bit says, I honestly don't know about, oh geez. Oh, if Union Type is coming to .NET 9, but I don't it. Oh, I don't think it will. That changes so much of the base and core of the language as a whole. Zulia said to Emporium guy about Maui could have been an upgrade. Nah, that would have been way too much progress on Maui. Gotta take it slow. Sarcasm. 8-Bit said, I'm just happy Unity announced .NET 8 is done for the editor and runtime. Like the dev team has announced they finished it up and got it working. They just need to implement the new burst editor and the packages to it before users can use it. So since you're talking about the improvements to the Unity dev experience, do you know what the package manager system does look like? Or is going to look like with the shift to using .NET Core? Snobble says, greater than simplified authentication state serialization for Blazor web apps. Oh, one of the points, yeah. Simplified authentication state serialization for Blazor web apps. Yeah, I do like that as well. Again, because their templated approach, I believe, is backend for front end. So you can have a distributed system and still be able to maintain your authentication state, even if the user's session gets switched to a new instance. Oh, you definitely don't have to interrupt anyone for doing it. They are adding NuGet support. Let me pull the dev lead for .NET Response. He mentioned NuGet stuff. Zulia said, what? Unity catching up to Godot in terms of C#? That's a welcome surprise. I mean, pull up his message. He already answered that question for the community in a post. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing that, but if it's work, don't feel obligated. Yeah. Plus. Well, ironically, you can use C# 12 in Unity already, but not MS Build and core CLR stuff. Like, it also sounds like they would need to switch to the Roslyn compiler even. If it's not already using that. This one. What do I have open in this project? I'm glad it opened on this screen because Findle's nodocs isn't going to really help me if I have... Actually, it should, because it's an XML file. If I have the file that has the connection strings open, which it doesn't. I'm gonna show you what I'm excited to be working on that I need to put on hold for this ArcGIS thing. This is S-Track. S-Track is a desktop application of VB.NET using .NET Framework 4.8.2, if I recall correctly. It's not going to let me see it. Okay, this is the beautiful application right here with this awesome background image. And yeah, can I make it smaller just so you can see that the background image scales with the size of the window? Isn't that the best? Has these nice little menus that bring up information, project information that I probably don't want to pull up. Brings up the actual chain of custody records in a different window that pops up on another screen. Anyway, I'll be moving that over to an existing web application, and just look at this beautimousness. I get to convert all of these forms into Blazor views, components, and all of the logic behind them. Oops, that's not how you get to code behind. Yum, beautiful. I love VB. And I mean that seriously. I love the way it looks. They had a new async system 2 years ago that works like threading. It is built on the awaitable type. Cool. They have Roslyn already and is used in some of Unity's stuff already. Zulia said about the ironically you can use C# comment. Fully including async await and all that magic ? Or do they still need their coroutine crutches? And ThinkDAO should know what's good in .NET 9. Yeah, most likely. Definitely check out Thindle if you haven't already. Thindle is a an application developer as well. I haven't seen his streams lately. I don't know if he said he was going to be taking some time off of streaming, or maybe he's just been busy, but I haven't been able to get, I haven't even seen him go live, so it's not like I missed his streams, I don't think. I see some comments down there that I'll get to shortly. But that's when 8bits responded with, they had a new async system 2 years ago, works like threading. Irish John Games is like, he hazarded against using async await, I think. Hope it's okay to drop doc links. Absolutely. Do note they are updating the documents from Unity 2023.1. I believe even Unity lifecycle methods like awake, start, and on enable can be told to be async. What? That's going to be nice. And since I did a little bit of work on a desktop application, I think I know some of the gotchas for an application that will run on a computer directly. Something async. Interesting. Where are we? Just note some methods are not usable on the background thread until the core CLR update. Yes, cool. And then Emporium guy was like, VB, oh god, no. Snubble's like, VB is sweet. Learning F# made me appreciate VB more. Like, VB was my initial .NET language. I did everything in VB. I did VBA for Microsoft applications. I did VB6 before that for desktop applications. VB.NET for everything else. So even my MVC apps that I started off with when MVC came out were VB applications. Oh, the project that I got to work on while I was at Department of Defense was a VB ASP Classic application. Which, again, super duper fun. Loved it. I have horror stories from VB's WinForms during high school. I don't know. I like it. I like the language. I like the way that the syntax automatically updates variable names for you, kind of thing. So it's case insensitive for the most part. If I wanted to access, for example, DB here, I could put if DB, and then it'll automatically fix it for me. And if I left it as capital, then it'll fix it when I do a carriage return. So I really like those things. But C# is like, I'm case sensitive for variable names and the curly braces and the semicolons and all of that fun stuff. And I just didn't think I would ever get used to that. But now I love C# as well. And I love them each in their own way. Oh, he's been on vacation. Okay. And he's back from vacation. I haven't seen WinForm stuff in a long time. Well, I really do plan on finishing up the financial management tracker so that I can do some of this conversion on stream, but I do tend to move fast when it's just a conversion. So I don't know if we'll finish the financial management stuff before I finish this effort. Don't know. But if you would prefer for me to just go ahead and switch to my work product stuff, especially .NET 8 upgrades and converting from VB to web, VB WinForms to web, and how I would do that. I talked to him today, says Napalm. Cool. I have horror stories about C# too. Everything sucks in production. True. That's why I like F#. It's not used in production, and thus I still like it. I love it. Snubble. 8 bits per play says, game objects in Unity have built-in cancellation token, by the way, that reads automatically into cleanup for async methods. That's very cool. For anyone wanting to see the examples of awaitable here, this has actual examples for example code for JSON and JavaScript API in Unity using awaitables. Why are you opening over here? Oh my goodness. So annoying. And actually, you shouldn't have opened in this browser. That was okay. Yeah, so I mean, anyone that's already been doing application dev will be used to whatever it is that they're trying to give you examples of here. This is most likely for people that have never used async, await, or are just used to the way that you're supposed to do workarounds in Unity. Not workarounds, but the approach that you're supposed to take in Unity for doing things like, let's fire this off on a different thread, let's dispatch this, or have a delegate for the handler for this type of thing. Have coroutines. Welcome back, cat. That was fun. Triggered, says President, not sure. The VB. Oh, I will show you more. I will show you so much more VB. Let's go to the sample data. Yeah, look at this. My favorite thing about this, about WinForms in general, doesn't even have to be VB, was defining your data sources in your WYSIWYG editor, essentially, and saying, I want this thing to be populated by F4. Oh, I guess this one is declared in the backend, but whatever. By this. And then as soon as you hook it up to the data source, then you have direct access to the data source. And it was so much fun. Oh man. I love these variable names. This was one of the apps that I didn't bring over from VB6, but neither hither nor thither. Oh, just look at this beautiful code. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Celia said, checks personal projects folder. Check. It just never released to production, and then you won't have to worry about it. It's going very well. I hope you're having a fun day so far, Cat. Community day it is, and Discord is open, and I either missed it or just haven't gotten there. Okay, I'm extremely late, but in the community hangout channel, I will pull you in if you're ready. We were recently talking about you. Peter said, I have done many things and am back. My new advice is try reboot, cloud redeploy, move hardware, because they're quick fixes. Then, if that doesn't fix it, try to really fix it. Yes, I will. I will absolutely do that. I need to figure out how to do the redeploy thing and figure out if it's going to cause me to get different IP addresses or need to reconfigure all of it. Like, I don't know what goes into the certificate for a CA. I don't know if the machine ID goes into it or anything, but that might also mean reissuing certificates for all of my servers. Peter said to Thindle, I already did my time in the slammer. Looks like we missed each other again. Thindle said, I had a customer who had, actually, I'll let him say it himself when he's ready. He's ready. All right, pulling you in now. Microphone check.
Hello, everyone.
Ooh.
Could you hear
Talk
me?
again? Yes.
Hello. Awesome.
Perfect. Good.
Hello, friends.
Tell us about this customer of yours.
Well, they had production code with WinForms with the default control names. So everything was called, button 1, text box 1, combo box 1, and 2, and 3, and like
here.
Trying to figure out what the heck was what in code was fun. Let's call it that.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hey, Emporium. Hey, Snobble. So, how is everyone doing?
Fantastically. I had a situation that I was bringing up earlier where AWS our servers are being annoying, and I need to be a system admin / cloud architect, and I was getting advice from Peter. Yeah. Fun times.
Smart people. Surround yourself with smart people and you become smarter. I think that's the saying.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Juice.
What about using GUIDs as names? Yeah, that'd be fun. Put all controls
Everything gets a GUID
in a hash set. or a dictionary. So you have to look it up with the
Where
GUID,
the,
and
where
then you
the
have to
GUID
cast
is
it to the
actually a
right type.
string.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to cast it to the right type.
Gosh.
There's
My
a
heart
whole
can't take
section
that.
of people just trying to write mangled languages. Like someone made a whole language using C preprocessors, and it was terrible. Somehow, I mean, it worked, so you could code in his language, it would pre-process over to C, and then compile, and it's like, yeah, it was insane.
Nothing special with the C.
ULID. I mean, I know what a UUID is, but a ULID.
I've heard of the library because I think I've watched the video that Zulius is referring to, the Nick Chaps' video. What do you think about the Python language? I don't think I've heard of that.
Where
or maybe
are
I
we?
have. I don't know. It's probably not something that I paid
Python.
very much attention to.
I love Python. It's the best thing to ever have happened to Python. It's a preprocessor that keeps track of your stack depth, so you can use braces instead and format your code however you want.
Yes,
and then it pre-processes that into tabs. I think I might have mentioned it. It's the best thing to have ever happened. Yeah, but it becomes better if you can use braces, right?
Idea. Dukasoft, your bot already does dad jokes. Unless you got that from your bot. Sorry, what does braces already?
They make everything better.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I do not like a language where the formatting defines functions.
Oh yeah, I don't like where whitespace defines it.
Yeah, exactly.
The region, or what is it called?
Yeah, the
block.
Scope. Yeah, the block scope. Yeah.
But I am okay with languages that don't have semicolons to denote end of line. I'm okay with languages that don't have curly braces to denote blocks, where it's just keyword based. Because I was mentioning earlier that I love VB.NET and VB6 as they are. And I never thought that I would like C# because of the semicolons and the curly braces and all that stuff. But then I used it and I'm like, I love this. But I still do love VB syntax.
Yeah. VB syntax is fine. It gets way too much hate. The biggest issue with VB these days, it's the same as with F#. It's not getting support for all the latest features.
Right.
I know Snobel here loves F#, and I know that he is very sad about the source generators not being available. It's supposed to be common language runtime, but it's turned into C# language runtime. I actually agree, unfortunately. But
if indentation
I don't mind.
True.
Yeah, I don't mind having keywords to define scope, but to define like this is a for or whatever, and having an end if in this case having to be on a separate line. That's fine. But when your code layout, your indentation specifically in this case, becomes logic, I don't like that. And you can't do a while loop on a single line in VB, right?
I think you can. You can. You just use colon.
Okay. And can you do multiple things on a single line with colon?
Maybe. I know that I've done a lot of variable setting using colon. It's been a really long time since I've written anything in VB though, so.
That is awesome, and I did not know that, so that just made VB even better. No.
Oh, it's not wind in VB.NET.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like yes.
It did. Awesome. See, I learned a thing. I told you, surrounding yourself with smart people makes you better at things.
Oh, it's been such a long time now.
Eh.
I do miss it. I miss VBA.
Any language with on error resume next is automatically awesome, right?
Handle errors.
Nah,
Oh yeah.
that's all fancy and stuff. That's too fancy. Just resume next.
Yeah, I used VBA in Access, Excel, Word, PowerPoint. I used it everywhere that I could. Because when I was working initially at the Department of Defense, Human Resources, I couldn't do any real software development, so I made macros for everything that I did.
Yeah.
So that I could be a developer.
So you did
man.
Shadow IT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a whole bunch of people talking once you came on. That's awesome. Thank you.
Hey.
Just
We're all
overly
friendly,
complicated.
right?
I had to do some simple name spacing stuff today for Python library, company name dot whatever. It's a mess. That sounds Java-y for name spacing. Com dot company name dot. Yep.
Yeah.
They know
Yep.
this.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with Java except Java developers loving to be extremely verbose.
I do too. And it might be because I was brought up on Java.
It could be. But
But
you're
mostly
not
it's because
that
I have
bad.
trouble naming things.
Yeah, but I've seen insane examples of, so I have a variable name. And then you look at the length, it's like, 50 freaking characters long.
It's like
That's just too long.
What do I name this? This is going to, and then whatever words I say after going to, I just write as the method name.
Yeah. I
Get
love
data from the server.
There. I love it.
Oh, what did he say?
I had a problem. Then I used Java. Then I had a problem factory.
Terrible.
Although, I use a factory in my stream project in multiple places.
I'll do too.
And just to make it even worse, my factory inherits an interface and is dependency injected.
Mine too. But I didn't write the factory myself. I use IHTTP client factory and IDB context factory.
Yeah. I have, the system I'm building on stream is customizable for multiple customers.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
It's like a platform, yeah? So I have a iPayment provider factory. And that is then implemented in the customer project to register and create all of the payment providers that are needed and to look them up and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure where I was going with that, but dependency injection is the stuff.
Sharing is fine with me. If you just felt like sharing, that's a perfectly valid reason.
I do suffer from interface-itis.
So. Oh, man, we had a question on that on Wednesday stream, which it sounds like you were out for a while, and I have no idea how I didn't know you were out.
I was gone for a week.
Oh,
I am now suntanned.
Oh, wow. You actually tan?
One of those.
You don't just burn?
I burn first. Okay. Then I tan.
Oh, no, it's actually it was last Friday that I was asking about this. Now that
Yeah, and then I was in Greece.
Oh, yes, I did know that.
Yeah, I think I told everyone.
Jealous.
I was quite happy about it.
In the best way.
Yeah.
Like jealous in a way that's like, that's super exciting that you got to do that. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. I think you can say, I wish I could do that too, without it being a bad kind of jealous. I want to do that instead is a bit kind of jealous.
Well, just try doing both at
Okay.
first. Because like I'm jealous. Like I really want to go there and see what it's like, and I'm jealous that you
Yeah.
were able to.
Yeah.
But I'm also jealous
I'm
in the way
closer.
that's like, man, that's super exciting. I get to feel the
Yeah.
excitement that you probably felt going there.
It was actually really good. It was better than I
That's
expected.
awesome.
Because I
So
was
good to hear.
kind of assuming that I would be, bouncing on the spot, needing to, I need to do something. I need to do something. I'm just wasting time. I need to do something. But I actually managed to just sit down for a week. I did absolutely nothing, and it was glorious. The main issue, I think, is that they had a heat wave.
Oh no.
And if you take someone from the Nordics,
Oh, no.
displace them down to Greece, and then add a heat wave on top of that. So
Oh,
normally
geez.
it's normally, midday, it's maybe 85, 86 Fahrenheit. 29 degrees Celsius. It was 38 to 39, which is just above body temperature. That was an experience. So I was hoping to go into town and use my camera a bit and walk around, but nope, I stayed by the pool instead. So I
Man,
think
I
that
was
was a
burning up
better
when
idea.
we took that Mexico trip. Ugh.
Mhm.
Ugh. Like I'm an islander, supposedly, allegedly. So you'd think that I would be okay with hot temperatures, but if I get overheated, I just can't function.
Yeah, exactly. You just shut down, like, okay, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
I took a
Especially
walk for
if
like
it's humid heat.
yeah, and it was. I took a walk one day in the heat. I walked like, I think 400 yards one way and then 400 yards back. Because I had to go buy more sun lotion and I didn't realize there was a store right across the street. More sunblock, When I got back, I had to change my t-shirt off that 800-yard walk because it was literally wet. So, yeah, that's nice.
That was
But
the
I had a great
craziest
time.
thing that we experienced in Mexico. My power cord or something kept saying, I have moisture in the socket. Don't use the power cord. And it eventually did. The power brick eventually just stopped working.
Oh,
And there were like puddles of condensation on the countertops that looked like someone spilled water.
oh,
It was crazy.
yeah. When you reach actual 100% saturation, it will not evaporate anymore.
That's most likely what happened.
Yeah. So any moisture that gets deposited or any sweat that you get, it just stays there. So you don't cool down, which anyways, that's a very unrelated topic.
No, I don't mind that.
Is
I'm trying to
Mojo
get
here?
better. He was here earlier, like a long time ago, but he's been.
I saw now that he had a question in .NET chat, the code help.
Oh, you can still talk about
where
it.
he name dropped me. And he talked about Unity. And I started writing a reply, and maybe I should actually post that since he isn't here. But Unity, Microsoft Art Unity is not for the Unity 3D engine. It is a very out of date package for dependency injection and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I used it last time in 2010 or something. It is ancient and very out of support. Snow, what's great in Net 9? I don't know.
He said, I don't know. We're like, you're the only one that's going to really know because I don't really read the notes. I get whatever I happen to get on my YouTube feed, and it was a Dan Roth video on Blazor and .NET 9.
I'm thinking, I think I have one thing. I just need to remember the name of it. Unions are coming.
That was a question earlier. Are we sure it's coming with .NET 9 and not a separate C# Lang release?
I don't think they release C# versions out of sync with net versions.
I don't know these things.
No. I know that they can they can do whatever they want. I know that they have released net versions without
A
language
C#
updates,
upgrade. Mhm.
but I don't think they do it the other way around.
I didn't know.
Yeah. What I really want, though, which is not coming in at 9, is more options for customizing the primary constructor. I don't
Lambdas are
like
not
the
restricted to
way.
a single line.
What is not restricted?
Lambdas.
Oh no, they are not.
Oh. I need a C#.
Well, they shouldn't be.
And when you're saying lambdas, you mean the method parameters dot some other method parameters dot
Yeah,
some other?
that's just fluent, right?
Yeah.
We link up or do them in
Oh,
serial.
lambdas in Python.
Oh, in Python. Do you need to tab them though?
I mean, if they're on a single line, you don't tab.
No, but if you do it on multiple lines.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Have you tried that, Snubble? Do I have idle installed from like a million years ago? Python W refers to. It's not currently installed. Yeah, I don't have idle installed.
C# 13 supports params that don't need to own. That can be other types than arrays. Not
Parent?
sure.
Oh, right. Because you call these things parents, don't you?
Hold on.
We call these square brackets, which you guys just call these.
No, that's not params. Params is a
params. Params.
Yeah.
The keyword in
functions.
method names.
Yeah, exactly. In method property names.
Yeah, so the params here
names.
don't all have to be the same type as what you just said.
They don't need to have. They don't have to be an array. They can be a list
they don't
or
have
an
to be an
enumerable
array.
or whatever. I think the main part here would be if it's an enumerable where you can do lazy enumeration.
Ooh. I heard parents.
Oh, no. Yeah. Let's see, decent. What else do we have that's new? We have a new lock type where you have a specific type to lock on, and that gives you some abilities or options for how to handle the lock. Right now you can lock on any reference object, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any object, any reference object you can lock on, but now there's a specific lock type. Implicit indexer access in object initializers. Yada. What more do we have up here? Net9 SDK introduces workloads, and I have only heard bad things about workloads. How it won't install everything you need. I think that's part of it, Snobble. I think it will, but don't quote me on that.
What did he say?
I think it will actually support async await if you use the new type.
Oh.
Kind of like if you use a...
Okay.
What are they called? There's another way of doing...
semaphore.
Locks.
Semaphore slim.
Semaphore, yeah. Exactly.
So what these two are talking about, for those of you that don't know, is if you do use a lock like this, which just means that nothing else can enter this block, only one thing can enter this block at a time, you cannot use await keyword inside of this block.
Yep.
But if you use a private read-only semaphore slim, for example, you can tell it how many things are allowed to enter that block. You can start your lock, grab a key or whatever it's called doing, and then run your code asynchronously and everything will wait until there is a key available.
Until there's a, I don't know, semaphore slot or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's something like
Available.
wait one.
Yeah.
Wait one. Or just wait.
I think you
Wait or wait.
can just, yeah, exactly. No, it might not be wait one, but you can do, I think you can just await it. Actually, so you don't need the check there. The if current count is 0.
Cool.
It'll just block until it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or until it's released.
And this is what I'm probably going to need to do if I'm... What was I talking about earlier where I thought I might need semaphores? Oh, Unity. This is what Unity might probably need a lot of when they release the .NET 8 stuff with async await. Since it's essentially a desktop app.
Yep. I do not think overload priority is great, actually. It will complicate things, Snobble.
What is overload priority? Like you get to manually set the priority for which overload to use first when it matches?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
What else did we have?
It's complicated to Snubble.
Yeah, I agree with the private public stuff on primary constructors, and that was part of what I meant. I want to be able to have a primary constructor create a private read-only variable instead of always creating a public property
or a field.
Yeah.
Is it a property or a field?
I think it's the same thing. It creates a get set.
Okay, so property.
Yeah.
Because a public field is one that doesn't have a getter and setter method. It's just accessible.
Just a public variable.
Yeah.
Is what you.
I mean, it's still called a field. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not know that. I thought they were the same thing.
Yeah. Property, public property, public field. See, even Copilot knew.
Yeah.
Private field.
And one more. And one more. Come on. See what it does next. I have an idea. Yeah.
It's just going to give me a name conflict.
Mm-hmm. And that last one was actually a read-only field. Oh, sorry, a read-only property.
Wait, I don't know what it gave us.
It gave us a property with only a getter. Because you can set things, even if they only have a getter in the constructor, but not afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yes. In the constructor, unless you did something like get init, in which case you can only set it once when you initialize the object. You can do get private set, which I love.
I think within it, you can only do it in the object initialization syntax as well, right?
Right, exactly.
Use the squigglies.
Not only can you only do it there, you must do it there.
Yeah. Don't need to add required to it.
Not for init. Init is assumed required. So let's create a new object real quick just to verify. I don't want to lie to you.
I don't think so, because I think you need to set private required bool on that one to have it be required.
I'm confident in it, but when I'm wrong, that'll just make it even better.
I am guessing. So if I'm wrong, I'm not even ashamed of it.
At least I took a stab.
Okay,
so if we create a new sum class without initializing my bool, my postulation is that we will get an error.
Yeah, and my postulation is that it will work.
And you are right.
And it worked. And if you add required to that, public required boot,
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely required.
then you need to initially add it
Yeah,
in.
absolutely.
So now
And
we
then you
are
can't
in.
set it afterwards.
Yeah. Can you do init and private set?
No, it's one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, no. And that means they can't be set outside at all, so. Yeah.
Yeah, and I use private set a lot.
I do too. I do too. It's a mostly only when I need logic, though. Actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think.
Not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you have something that can only be read from outside, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Then private set would be the correct thing. Because I, as a general rule, do not expose fields.
Right.
I only expose properties. And if it's only a get set without anything else, I believe that gets compiled away.
Naming conventions in other languages. Like, I still don't really understand the point of __ other than to make it stand out.
I think standout and the sort order.
Oh.
Could be.
I don't know.
But
I
am
no
from
idea.
a age where we used Hungarian notation and we weren't even ashamed of it.
Another reason that I liked VB, like, look at these method names for the handlers. Function load COC header, CMD first click.
That's novel, exactly.
I miss those days.
Yeah. What do you think about? You see there, it says data grid dot data source.
Yes.
But then a bit further down, he has menu import, which I'm guessing is a menu item.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go up, I saw lots of TXT for text boxes.
Yeah,
I'm
text
assuming
box
as well.
So
Yeah.
what is
Would
up
you-
with this? This is a property, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's an object.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a control
element. Yes.
Yeah.
It's how they named the control for this one. I don't know why it's capitalized.
Yeah, they didn't follow their own structure. It should be grid data grid, or actually grid whatever it's actually used for.
Yes.
Oh, label 16. Oh, they missed a couple. Labels I can accept though.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really do write code against labels in a lot of cases.
If they're always constant, then I can accept labels, but everything else should be named, in my humble opinion. And it's not so humble.
Yeah, like here we're printing out the record information. So yes, let's name this label
like that.
So that we can do label.text.
But I wouldn't call that Hungarian, would you?
No.
I mean, you're saying what the type is, which is kind of what Hungarian is about.
Yeah, the control type, though.
Yeah.
Not the object type.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's somewhere in between, I think. I actually love how WinForms are defined with code.
Yeah, the designer.
Like if you for some
the
reason
code
want to do
designer.
Yeah. It's like you can do whatever you want to with that. You can read how the form is going to look inside of a Git repo without actually having to run it in Studio, which you might not do very often, but you can look up default values and stuff like that, for example.
But picture this. This code used to be VB6. And so to create the form, the easiest way was just to copy the designer code and paste it into the designer itself.
And then fix some minor errors, I guess.
Issues. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that was a good way of doing things. Although I don't like SAML syntax, but I can see the point of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, I can see the point. I do love the stubs that we have in Maui for the different controls, native controls, and looking forward to seeing that in Blazor so that when you put a button in HTML, it's still going to render as an styled like the native platforms button.
Yeah.
One day that'll be a thing.
Did anyone ever use MFC? Microsoft Foundation classes.
That sounds very familiar.
It
I most
was
likely
a
have not used it.
It was a C way of WYSIWYG and GUIs. Because the other way was defining everything in code.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, and I may not, I think MFC created binary files for to describe the forms. I don't think those were readable. Because if you have a lot of forms, building them in Win32 is painful. That's why.
It's only a little painful.
Okay, they're resource files. Never mind then.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. The dot. Oh, I can't even remember the file extension from the original. The ones that were the data files that told it how to connect to the database. I've reverted back to saying data. No, before that even, for the forms themselves. So you would define a data source in the UI. So like you right click, add a data source, go through the editor, and then it creates a dot something file. I'm running out of time. So while I look for this, how about
if you did DB first in Entity Framework, that would go through your data model and create an EDMX. But you're talking about something entirely different. I don't know.
Yeah, in the VB6 app.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Not VB6. Entity Framework then. Not Entity Framework then.
Right.
Yeah. My stand-up is I'm going to keep doing probably absolutely nothing for a little bit longer.
Oh, I hope it's nice.
If I'm going to do something, actually, no, sorry, I lied. I'm going to do a playtest of Clayman's game this weekend.
Ooh.
And give him some feedback on that. And other than that, if I have the feeling, if it strikes me, I might try to build a test project with multiple Blazor applications running inside of one web app. So you could have one under /A and another one under /B. And other than that, no. Chill.
You know what? That's kind of what I am doing right now. So this application is getting absorbed into an existing web application.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that I'm doing is creating an entire different Blazor component library for it and just hooking it up to the main app instead of having it be a virtual application.
Yeah.
So it all works. Anyway.
But that's for work, right?
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, last thing. You mentioned CAs before.
Yes.
CA cert is basically any certificate that you can assign other certificates with. You can use that as a local CA cert.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what I mean is my server itself is having issues. The one that is the CA certificate, the root CA server that issues the certificates. And it seems like there might be a hardware issue in the cloud. And so one of the suggestions was to redeploy it to new hardware. And that keeps my image intact. So I'm sure that it'll still have the same name, FQDN.
The computer name doesn't even have to be the same.
Well, I want it to, because everything uses that server.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to.
So what I was mostly concerned of is the certificate that I'm currently using as my signing certificate for all of my other certificates that this server issues going to be invalidated if I deploy it to new hardware because it might have a different machine ID or some element that goes into creating the thumbprint for the certificate.
Nope, that's fine. You have to add it as a CA in the Windows installations or Linux, whatever, that want to verify it. So you have to have the server there, but the certificates themselves, that's fine. So the only reason you need the name is that when you're validating the certificate, they can find your local private CA.
Right. Yeah.
But
So
the
right
certificate
now,
itself is fine. You can just move that.
all of my other machines have installed the root CA certificate as a trusted root authority. But if my root authorities, the system that it's running on, changes, then that could invalidate the certificate itself.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. Especially not if you just move the image, then it will, famous last words, just work.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it can keep the same DNS name on the server, so that you don't have to add the new CA anywhere to all the client computers. Then you're golden.
Cool.
You don't have to do anything. The certificate itself is fine even if you move it. That's my point.
The only thing I would have to do is if the public IP happens to get updated for it's probably going to be a new instance, is what I'm assuming is going to happen. With all of the drives reattached. I would just need to update my Route 53 IP address.
It is going to be a new instance if you create a new one. If you spin down the old one and create a new one from a new image, you'll get a new IP. Because it's technically another computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But same drives. That's the other thing.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Azure or
VHDLs.
AWS or whatever, we'll see it as a new computer,
Cool.
even if it's the old drives. So yeah, that's me. That's CAs, and yeah.
All that's
Thank
left
you. It
are
was fun
tacos.
to talk to you again. And what's your stand-up?
My stand-up is that I will be spending the rest of the day doing all of the 12 hats that I'm currently wearing simultaneously and getting them all done.
I'm impressed. I hope
Asynchronously,
it'll
not
work.
simultaneously. Sorry.
Are
So
you
I'm
gonna wait
upgrading an
and
app
do them
to
serially, or I mean,
No,
asynchronously kind of means that you will do them at the same
at the
time,
same
all of them.
time-ish. Yeah, it's just that I will be on this process, await, and then I'll be on the server doing stuff, and then await, and then I'll be on AWS, and then await, and then go back to doing the code, and then await.
Yeah. Gotcha. So it's semi-parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon now that I'm back in the land of the frozen northern wastes.
Looking forward to it.
Take care, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.
All right. And for everyone else, thank you so much for being here. That was Thindle. You guys know him. You love him. Check out his stream the next time that he streams. Now that he's back, it'll probably be next Wednesday. Yeah, that was me. We had Peter on the line earlier to talk AWS and cloud stuff with me. And yeah, that's it for the day. I will be hanging out on people's streams like always. You'll see me over on Irish John's and the Visual Studio channel, which I'm going to start lurking on them, but I won't be talking there. Too many people. But we're going to raid over to BitGamey, who's probably ending soon, so he's just going to raid you out to the right place. Otherwise, he's going to wait until Irish John starts and raid out to him. That is going to be it for me for today, and I will be back on Monday. So, and thank you for the stream, Zulius. You have a great weekend as well. I'll be back on Monday for more financial management UI redesign stuff. We've gotten into starting to do the responsive styles, made some decisions, and we're moving forward with it. Hopefully we'll finish that within the week. Maybe it'll take us 2 weeks to fully do all the styles for responsive mode. But immediately after that, we're going to do the .NET 8 upgrade for the application, and then make a decision from there, redesign the rest of the app, or switch over to work product type stuff. So I'll let you guys weigh in on that. All right, that's it for now. Ciao. Oh, I post VODs to YouTube. Feel free to join Discord. I can't do this with one hand before time runs out. Okay.